Father of the 14-year-old boy shot by police in Ibadan, Oyo State, Odunayo Alade, has gone into hiding just as he expressed grief and anger over the tragic incident that claimed the life of his son, Kehinde Alade. This came on a day the Inspector General of Police, Kehinde Alade, ordered an investigation into the tragic incident where life was snuffed out of a teenager by the bullet from a policeman in Oyo State. Recall that a secondary school student identified as Taiwo was said to have been hit by a stray bullet allegedly fired by a yet-to-be-identified police officer during a high-speed chase. The incident, it was gathered, occurred around Bagi Market Road in Ibadan as the officer and the traffic agency officials pursued a fleeing vehicle suspected to be conveying internet fraudsters, popularly called Yahoo Boys. The death of the teenager, however, sparked widespread protests in Ibadan. Recounting the harrowing event, the father of the teenager, Alade, explained why he drove against traffic. He said, "When I came out of the house, I needed to pump the tire at a junction close by. As the vulcanizer finished, I entered the car to move, and as I moved, I saw a car moving towards me. I did not know it belonged to the Oyo State Traffic Management Authority." You know, there was so much that was said by this Mr. Alade over a reason, according to him, reason why he broke the traffic rule and decided to take the one-way drive. At the time when he was not apprehended, when his car was shot. Yes, about to be apprehended, because there was a chase at the point. I don't know if you saw the video where he wanted to take that cut, but we didn't see the video when the shot was fired on his car. According to the police, they said they shot the car to stop him, but the stray bullet hit his child, and then they said that they thought it was internet fraudsters that were driving the car, probably because of the kind of car. We know stories surrounding young guys driving certain kind of cars and then getting stopped by the police. You know, there's been several statements, controversies, you know, questions, how do I put it, scold and statements by individual staff, you know, heard the story. Some have faulted the man, saying he disrespected or disobeyed the traffic rule. You know, some have faulted the police, saying that the police situation, this brutality and all of that has been on the rise. So the police shouldn't have shot at the car, knowing that there were children in the car. But on the other hand, so many have said this man shouldn't have disobeyed the traffic rule. Imagine he was in Sinai Climbs, what would he have done? Even though because according to the man, the vulcanizer spot was close to the spot where he was supposed to make that bend. So that was why he just had to take that cut. You know, from the whole story, I'm sure you've been following the story up till now. I just want to get your thoughts on what you make of this, please.
Unfortunately, a young boy, Kehinde Alade, has lost his life on circumstances that are very avoidable. That death is an avoidable death. Of course, this is for the opting time. Somebody is dying as a reason of avoidable death. Unfortunately, we live in a country that has become, avoidable death has become commonplace. It's easy to see people die of circumstances they ordinarily wouldn't have died of. But this is particularly painful because the father, I don't know how that man is going to live the rest of his life. That is, if in retrospect he tells himself the truth that he ought not to have taken the action he took that day. But you see, looking at the whole story, I feel like both parties, the police on one hand and the father, are being very economical with the truth. The police first came out and said, oh, they thought there was the guy was a Yahoo man, there was a criminal, a case of kidnapping and all that. From the video seen and everything, that was not the truth. And even on the account of the policeman that shot, first, even if he is a Yahoo boy, as was said, I know we have lived in this country, we have lived through terrible times in this country. There was a time, a particular president in this country unfortunately gave an order to the police to shoot at sight. We have lived past that era. As terrible as that was, we lived past that era. Theoretically, even though in practice you still see them act that shoot at sight order. But you see, even if they were Yahoo boys, there is no reason why you should shoot a Yahoo person at sight. Even the most notorious criminals, the bandits, which has become a bone in the throat for many Nigerians and indeed the country as a whole, there is still no order to shoot at sight. You only shoot when it's absolutely necessary. And then these guys, the police guy that said he was aiming at the tire, the last time I checked in a car, the tire is down. How did a targeted, a fire aimed at the tire got to the car? So something is actually wrong even with the training. Let's assume he really wanted to shoot at the tire. It shows that there is problem with their shooting. It shows that he is probably or most likely a poorly trained officer who aims at the tire and the gun goes to the car. I mean, look at the gap between the tire and the car. So it proves that we have a whole lot of trouble in our hand. And like I said, they have been economical with the truth, saying they think, oh, they didn't know. They spoke with the guy. The video showed them stopped. The guy was stopped. So they actually knew that he had children inside, and they say, oh, they thought it would have been a case of kidnapping. As at the time they conversed with him before he tried to make the escape. If it was a case of kidnapping, probably those children would have tried to make escape. I mean, they were not unconscious like that. Then on the part of the father, I also listened to him. He said, he said so many things that none is pardonable. First, if you have children in your vehicle, you have a responsibility to set examples for them, and these are your children. You have to set examples for them how to go about. Then on that excuse that the distance he was going to take the one way is not much, there is no excuse for going against the traffic law. You see, the traffic law says that this is a turn, this is one way. It does not make an exception that, oh, if you're going to break the law for a few minutes, then you are excused. No, even if, I mean, these are things we see every day. Even in our city here, you see somebody who feel like, I'm going this way, then instead of going to turn that way, let me just stay. It still doesn't follow. No matter how short it is, you are required at every time to do the right thing. Unfortunately, we live in a system where people can be excused for wrong doing, and you have your children there then to say, oh, because the boy was going to write. I watched his video in one of the TV stations, say, oh, because the guy was, or maybe the boy or his elder brother was going to write an exam for 8 a.m. It still doesn't justify anything. It would have even been better for him if he attempted negotiating with the police people than trying to. I mean, as bad as these security agencies have been, they are still representative of the states. They still have the authority of the state. Trying to outsmart them, trying to fight them is still a criminal offense, even when they are wrong. I mean, when you put yourself on that position, then you have even denied yourself every opportunity to make an argument that they were abusing you or something. So unfortunately, it led to the loss of a life. Then on the part of the police again, I must say, when people deal with the police, we shouldn't all forget that these men, much as they are our security men, most of the times they have proven to be a threat to life. And when you're dealing with them, you have to be very, very careful.
So talking about threats, sorry if I'm going to cut it short, that personal experience, growing up as kids, when we see men in uniform, especially the police, we always want to salute, admire. Like some of us, not me inclusive, some of our friends then would be like, I want to be a policeman, I admire those people, and then we have that respect for them. But I think the other way around now, we don't see them like we used to. I'm not going to side on any of the situation, but I personally, when I approach checkpoints with policemen in uniform with their arms, I get scared. I have this fear that what if something happens, or the driver says something, or something doesn't turn out to be well, would this man release bullets? Will he release shots on us or something? Because I don't know if you heard about this particular lady that was with her family one Sunday.
The lawyer, the barrister in Lagos.
Yes, and then her case was actually different. Whereas they stopped the car, and then questions went on, and the moment at the time when bullet was shot at this lady, it's something we really can't explain on that. And so there's so much fear of, oh, I don't want to get caught on all of that. I don't know if you have to throw more light on that. If something has to be done, I also have heard that most of those bullets that they use in their possession are accounted for. You're being told on when to shoot. But probably when you're under a threatening situation, or what's the case may be. But I really do not know how that abuse of power has turned out to be in that aspect. I wanted to just refer to that point where you talked about the police being seen as a threat.
Well, you see, the thing is this: we must all tell ourselves the truth of where we are as a people. We live in a society that many things has been bastardized. Even the officers themselves, some of those men, if you meet them individually outside of work, they may be very nice men. And even some of them while at work, to be sure, I've met some very fantastic policemen, but I have also met some that are nothing but a threat to life and a threat to the system. And this is where it comes in. As the saying goes, wisdom is profitable to direct. In dealing with these people, and indeed dealing with anybody, you have to be very careful how you deal with them. Some of them carry a whole lot of burden on their shoulder. You recall during the NSAS protest, one of the demands made was a psychiatric evaluation of officers. And I don't know if you recall recently, sometime this year, some 2-3 months back or so, a police officer shot some persons in Calabar, and he was said to be, there was a case of he was under some mental health challenge or something like that. And then the matter is still untypical of Nigerian thing. After some time, though the matter may still be on, but you hear less of it. Now the thing is that you can't rule away the fact that these guys work under very difficult situations. You need to see where they live, their barracks. For those who even get a place to live in the barracks, their working conditions, you see even their space structure, so many things they are just like every other Nigerian who is going through a hard time, and the system is not helping them. So those encumbrances could also affect their output on how they relate with people and all that. And like I said, there are still so many of them that are still very fantastic people. You meet them, you deal with them. But for your sake, you need to be alive to fight a cause. As much as you can, whatever you can do to stay alive, stay alive. When you're dealing with these people, especially when at times, you should be able to sense a security man who is about to be civil and one who is about to go haywire. And then as much as you can, try as much as you can to also be on the right side of the law. You can't be, my take on all these things, that you can't be on the wrong side and try to justify why you are on the wrong side, that because it's a short distance. It doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. And then you see them when they are in crowd. If you're dealing with one person, when they are in crowd and maybe different agency, because from the video I saw there seems to be different agencies. There may be the Oyo State Traffic Agency, the policemen, and even with your children in the car, even without the policeman shooting, driving the way that man drove, he risked the possibility of even causing an accident on the road. Yes.
Because I've actually come across situations like that where an individual driving on a one-way route, got intercepted with another
absolutely.
car.
And you know, the thing is that at times it's point to how bad our society has become. At times when you see these people driving on the wrong side of the road, they have even become so bold to threaten those on the right side of the road. The guy is honking at you to give him way. You're on the right of way, he's on the wrong side. Rather than being patient, he has the effrontery to even abuse the guy on the right side. So to say, oh, because your child is going to write exam doesn't follow. Like I said, it's very unfortunate that the young man has died.
Okay.
I just hope that in all this, a lesson is learnt on the part of the citizen. And also, this is an opportunity to keep increasing the call we have been making over the years of having a civil police, a police who don't just, you know, no matter what the provocation, as far as there was no threat to anybody's life there. And you know, like has been pointed out severally, that vehicle had a number. You would have gotten the number of that vehicle. This even talks about how equipped our system is. If our system, if the security may have cameras, you know, like we see or hear about other crimes, you don't need much argument with him. You get the record of the man before he gets to. I mean, why do we have all the various registrations we have? Such a person would have been fined heavily and maybe even have that car confiscated from him for some time without anybody losing his life. All you needed to do was get the number of the vehicle. Before he gets to wherever he's going, he gets a call.
All right.
And
Thank
that
you.
settles it.
Thank you.